Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of video reviews about board and card games. Here are your hosts, Tom Vassell and Sam Healy.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vassell.
Z Garcia, how are you?
Sam Healy.
Hello, everyone.
Today we're taking a look at Time Stories. This is an incredibly hyped game about, well, in this game you are going to go into the past and we're coming back from the future. We're in the future, going back, and it has a case in it, basically, like a module that this game comes with.
Right.
It's called the Asylum, the one that's in here. And then you can buy more modules. There's already one that's available to buy for this game, and there will be more coming out as time goes by. So we're reviewing this game after playing and completing Asylum in here. We're going to try to be as spoiler-free as we can. In this, I don't think we'll spoil anything.
Yeah, I don't think that should be too difficult.
Right, so let's talk about it. The basic gist of the game of Time Stories is that you are being put into like these pods here that it shows, and you are being sent into the past to fix something. Now what that something is going to be is something you're going to discover as you play the game. This is what I'm assuming. You start with each mission. This guy will tell you what to do. You'll read the back of all these cards, and it will tell you how to set up your game. Now, during the course of the game, you're going to be going to different locations. Up here in this spot, there's going to be a map. And you'll have your party location here, and you're going to move it to different locations on the map. New locations might show up on that map. A new card might come and you'll find a new location. But all this is going to be revolving around this time track. When you play a game, depending on the number of players and the scenario, you'll have a certain number of time units that you're going to be able to spend. As you spend these time units, eventually you'll hit 0, and if you haven't solved the mission, whatever you're supposed to be doing, you're yanked back to visit this guy again. And maybe you get to go through again, but this time you'll have some knowledge. It's even possible that there are some cards and things that will persist, and you might even have an item or something from one time frame to the other time frame. Now, when you are in a area, it's going to show you something like this. And I'm going to show you the very first room. Now, this isn't too much of a spoiler. They show it to you in the rule book. They also show this first room online. I'm not going to show you the backs of any of the cards, but this might be considered a minor spoiler for some people, so just skip forward a couple minutes if you don't want to see this. So this is the first room. It's called the day room, and when you go to a new location, that location this one says A, B, C, D, E, F, and then you make sure you have the cards A, B, C, D, E, F. You go through the deck and you can see on the sides, and they're kept together. And when you get to a location, each person's going to take their character token. This is a token that shows where you are, and they'll go to the location. The back of this card here describes the location. It might tell you some special things about what you're seeing here. And then you can go to these cards and you turn it over and you read the card. Now when you read the card, you're not supposed to show it to other players. You can tell them, but you're supposed to do it in your own words, what you see or what you found. Occasionally a card might give you an item. There's a whole deck of items. They have different numbers on them. These items might be more pieces of a map, or, well, I don't want to spoil it for you because they could be really anything, these items. Sometimes when you go to a certain location, you might have to do a challenge. And in this game, challenges are going to use your stats. Now, there's a lot of characters, and again, I don't really want to spoil characters for you, but I'll show you just one character here. This guy, I'm showing it to you because his name is Vassell, even if he does spell it with an I. And I'm not going to show you most of the stuff on his card, but you will see on his card here, he has some statistics here. And in each game, these statistics are going to stand for different things. But he has the green statistic, yellow statistic, and red statistic. And again, I'll let you play the scenario to find out what those mean. This one here is his defense, and this here is his hit points. So when you go to do a location, it might be something that requires 3 shields for a test to happen. And so maybe you get to roll, you have a 3 in that set, so you get to roll 3 dice, and you're trying to roll stars. So here I only rolled 1 star, so I would have to go again. Here I rolled 2 stars. But every time you go to a location, The first time you go there, you just go to one of the cards. But after that, if you want to roll the dice and or move, everyone can do it all together, move and roll dice, but that's going to cost another time unit every time you do that. And sometimes things might even cost more time units than that. When you go from one location to another location on a map, you roll this die, and it's going to be 1, 2, or 3 time units. And in some rooms are harder to move from and can add even more time units than that. Sometimes you'll find somebody that you are going to fight with in a combat setting. And when this happens, there might be things like this. There might be some shields with different symbols on them. And when you roll, again, you're using maybe a combat thing. So I'm trying to roll these stars to get rid of the different shields. But if I don't get rid of all the shields, and I roll any skulls, then I take all the skulls, add that up, and it's higher than my defense, then I will take the difference in hit points. And the game comes with tokens that track for hit points. In fact, the game comes with all sorts of tokens of different colors. What these tokens mean depends on the scenario. This might be candy. It might be bombs. You know, it could be any sort of thing that you're using and you could use to track it. Sometimes when you go to a location and do something, you will find these symbols. And these, you might go to a card that has the symbol on the card, and you have to have that symbol to turn that card over. And you'll keep track of these symbols up here. So to clarify how Time Stories works again, you're going to get a whole deck of cards. One comes in this, it's called Asylum. It has a card here, it says do not open before reading the rules, so you read the rules. But basically this deck of cards is split. There's some item cards, there's location cards, there may be other cards that tell you what to do if your mission is successful or fails. There's different cards in there, you're not really quite sure, but those cards are kind of plugged into the game. This board here is white and stark, but as you saw, that made a panorama of the room, and there's codexes up here where things may show up. You have your time track in the middle. You keep these. It's possible, even in these scenarios, that your people might die. And if you die, you basically will go 7 spaces ahead of where the time thing marker is, and then when the time marker hits, you come back in. But meanwhile, everybody is making do without you being there. And there's other bad things that can happen to you. Again, it's like a choose-your-own adventure. Now, the rest of this, I can't really tell you much more about it without spoiling the story, but you will go through it probably more than once, each of the scenarios, until you reach some sort of way to beat that scenario, or maybe even a way for you to lose the scenario. Okay, so Time Stories. There's a lot of things to talk about, so let's talk about the things I think that we can all agree on, and that is the components. The artwork, thoughts?
I think the game looks great. It's got a very clean look. It's a very stark looking game. It's a brave choice to go with that cover for one thing.
I love this cover.
But everything else in it, I'm talking non-module parts, are very stark looking.
Yeah.
And then the module itself, from the one we've seen anyway, has stupendous artwork.
Yeah.
It's a very captivating,
I'm going to vote for Best Artwork of the Year. One of them at least.
Amazing. It's a slam dunk.
I don't know about artwork of the year, but it is very good. It is very captivating is the word that's been used so much about this game so far. And the
By
artwork
me, anyway, because my vocabulary has 112 words.
Well, it's not you. You and Dan King both said that word in Best of the Month.
Okay.
So that word is definitely, and the artwork does lead you that way.
Yeah.
The artwork is one of those things that hooks you and brings you in.
All right. Then there's the story itself. Okay. It's not spoilers to tell you that Asylum is a horror type module.
Right.
Okay. Going into it, I mean, it's not like scaredy pants horror, but it's the same level of horror that you would find in the game Arkham Horror.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not Cthulhu.
And it's not a novel. You know, you're not going to get as much story as you will in a novel, but the fragments of storytelling and reading that you'll do in the game tell a good story.
Yeah, it does.
I thought the story was amazing. One of the cool things this game does, it has a system there, these little squares where you put them there to show that you've gone places.
Right.
And that way the game can kind of remember if something has happened.
Right.
Oh, well, you can do this because you met this character and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And I thought the story was really cohesive. And also, well, I'm going to say captivating too, because that is the right word. I was not bored for 1 minute when playing this. The whole time I was like, oh, what's going to happen next? And it challenged me. I thought there was some puzzles that were quite challenging.
Pretty mind-blowing stuff.
That's interesting, though, because there were definitely times where I was bored.
Really?
Yeah, because you guys just took over doing all the puzzles things, and I was just going, waiting for you to do it. So it was...
Is that you're not big on puzzles, though, right?
No, I'm not. I'm not big on puzzles, and you guys go bonkers nuts over them. So
Yeah.
No, I love
guys-
puzzles.
I agree with Tom. I was not bored for 1 second in this
right,
game.
and that's
Is that the
because-
only time you were bored?
Oh no, yeah. I mean, when we're actually going through and doing stuff, and figuring out where we should go from here, and talking about that, that's all well and fine and good. But that one part where we had to figure out that one puzzle.
There's a lot of puzzles, but there was one particularly we really struggled with, which is what Sam's talking
Right.
about. That's a good thing to point out, though. If you are someone who abhors puzzles,
Well, not even abhors. I mean, if you just would rather do something else.
that's fine.
There's going
You
to be
might-
times where you're just going to...
There's a lot of puzzles. This game is a puzzly
Yeah.
experience. If you don't like puzzles,
Well, the whole
might not be a
game is
game for
almost
you.
one big puzzle.
Sure.
Because you need to go here and get this thing and take it to here. If you like games on the computer like King's Quest or...
the old Myst games.
Right.
Yeah,
You know.
if you like those, you're going to love this.
Yes.
Because this is essentially that in a board game. What did you think of the combat or the test system, rolling the dice?
The test system is fine. I thought it was well balanced. I think the number of faces on the dice, the 6-sided, not the number of faces, but what's on the different faces was well balanced. Because there were times where you got lucky and you just totally knocked it out of the park. And there were other times where it was a struggle.
Right.
So it balances out that game.
I agree with that. I think it works well, and it ties nicely into characters
Yeah.
in the game.
Right.
That works well, and it allows for variability, but the system is still really clean and makes sense, and there's not a lot of that you roll, now account for this, now check that, now re-roll this one.
Right.
It's a straightforward system, and it keeps the story vibe going while still giving you something engaging to do, conflict, whether it be, actual combat or anything else.
Right.
It's interesting. It's very good.
I was also fascinated because there were a couple things I did not expect in the storyline that even may have ramifications down the road.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the most non-spoiler way I can put it. And now we did see almost everything in our playthroughs.
Right.
We played. I'm not going to spoil it right now and tell you how many times we played through it. Although that's going to be obvious eventually. You can find out. But in total, we took about, I'd say 4 or 5 hours. Well, probably 5 hours
5
to play
hours,
this
yeah.
thing. 4 to 5 hours.
4 to 5.
Now, granted, we were not hurrying, and we took a while on one thing. But overall, this is going to be the sticking point of this. Where do you guys stand on the game, your overall thoughts on it, and is it worth the price? Because I'll tell you right now, you can't play through it more than once without, I guess you could, but it's kind of like,
you know the answer to
right.
things. Yeah.
Basically, you're just going to see how efficiently you can move, I guess, the second time.
You could probably run a second playthrough of it and just keep your mouth shut while
Sure,
the other
sure.
3 or the other 2 people are making all
Oh,
the
well,
decisions.
you know what? I will do a real quick aside here and say that I was planning to do that with my family. I am not going to now because this is definitely
Yeah, this is not
Very-
13 plus. It's PG-13,
it's not
very
really-
strong.
Not really friendly. Yeah.
It
It's
is definitely very
it's grotesque. It's there's a strong occult-ish flavor to it. It's just, yeah, you got to be careful in that regard. I'm hoping that some of the other ones down the road
aren't that way.
are more family friendly.
Right.
Oh, I don't.
Well, the next one is a murder case from the 90s.
Right, so I
But
don't
the
know.
one after the fantasy one might be.
Yeah, maybe so.
I hope.
We'll see.
Because I would love to play a game like this with my family. But anyway, sorry. But you were talking about the time and is it worth it?
Oh, well, we were talking about it. It hadn't come over to me yet, I don't think. But I think it's worth the amount of money. I mean, if you just take a simple comparison by how much it costs for you to go out with 3 other people and do something, the amount of money it takes to do that activity, whatever it might be, is probably in the neighborhood of about $50, and it's not going to last. 7 hours, because this game is what, $35 on cool stuff, and then the Marcy case, the next
Like
module, is
21.
another $20 or $21. So you're talking about $50 for 2 modules on this game, and that's going to amount to around 7 to 8 hours.
Right.
Yeah, we don't know how long the second module is. I'm assuming it's the same as the first.
I mean, if you go to the movies, that's 3 hours tops, and you've you've spent $50 with 4 people, and you are not getting snacks. And so we're talking about double the time. You can do whatever you want as far as snacks are concerned.
I mean, I think
it's well worth it.
I think ultimately deciding how much something is worth for someone else out there
Right.
is a very, it's sort of grasping at straws ultimately. I don't know if it's worth it for you.
Yeah.
It's definitely a game that breaks the mold that we have become accustomed to, and that is you buy a game for $40 and you can play it for the rest of your life. You cannot do that. And it's not even close to the rest of your life. It's like 4 hours. And then, yes, you can spend more money. But is it worth it? Your analogy is a solid one, you know what I mean? Yeah. But a lot of people might not spend or be comfortable spending $50 to go to the movies.
Well, let me ask you this.
Wait and get a DVD for $10 and have it for the rest of their lives. You see what I'm saying? Is it worth it? I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this, though. Let's say Time Stories 2 came out.
Right.
All right? And because you played Time Story 1.
Right.
So Time Story 2 came out and I say, hey, it's the same thing. Here's a new way for you to jump into the series because you don't own it. This is mine. Will you buy it? Would you buy it for $35?
I think I want to wait and see how many cases are out. I'm worried about that also. I want to make sure
how long they support the game.
Yes. Support is a big deal for me with this kind of game.
Yeah.
Well, we know there's going to be at least 3 cases.
There's at least 4 designed ones from what I've heard, but I don't know.
It's another $20 every pop, though.
That's right, it is.
So we're talking about $50 for base game and 1 module, and then 3 more are going to come out. So that's another $60. So $110 without shipping for, say, 3.5 hours per case.
A good thing is, like you were saying, you can take this game and then hand it to someone who hasn't played, and they can play it perfectly well. Yeah. The game does not consume itself.
Right.
It just, your experience does run out with it. However, having said all that, will I pay for it? Well, I personally, I can't make up, that choice for people, but yeah, I'll probably pay for it because, as of right now, I'm rating this game on BGG a 10.
Woo! Wow, that's how much you like that?
A perfect rating. Because that is how much I like it.
We do thumbs here, sir.
I'm going to give it 10 thumbs up.
You don't have 10 thumbs. You can't do that.
I'm going to find
the way he rolled that one time, yes, he does have 10 thumbs.
So, there's very few 10s I give out, and right now I'm rating this game a 10. For me, this was just about as close to a perfect tabletop experience as I've had in a while.
And we were part of that.
You gentlemen, I'm going to rate it like a 9.8.
Okay, for me, very similar to Z, although I don't know that I rank it at 10, but I'll tell you what, I loved the story in it so much. It was just so fascinating to go through, the art, the different things. There were so many moments where we were like, wow! They planted some very strong red herrings that made me shake my fist, at the... And I enjoyed all that. I love the way the box is. It has an insert that you can save your game halfway through, which is cool. I don't think I'll ever need that. I mean, halfway through a run through. Maybe with some of the other future missions you will.
Right.
I think it looks like it's going to be able to switch out. I'd love to see, other things into it.
I do like the plug-in ability of it. It's like, okay, here's all this base stuff. Here's a new setting, new story, new everything. They really can go anywhere.
Yeah.
If you don't like the money aspect of it, I understand that, then don't get it. But I think you could still do it for like $10 because you could buy this game and when you're done, sell it on the used market to somebody else. Because again, you're not changing anything about it. You could turn us around, I think. And someone will probably buy it. Then they're getting it for a cheaper price and you're getting your money back.
I mean, or you could, if you have someone that you play with, split the cost, and you guys could even afterwards, one person buy one case and the other person buy the other case, then switch them after you've played them. You know, you could do that sort of thing.
I'm sure Asmodee loves us telling everybody to go to the secondary market, but honestly, that is not a bad idea. So for me, this gets two time thumbs up, one in the future, one now.
That was really lame.
That was pretty lame.
Very strange.
Yes.
You know what I'm giving it.
Okay, but anyhow, I really did enjoy it. Comparing it to Pandemic Legacy, which is also another game that ends. I think Pandemic Legacy in the long run is probably the better game, but I love the story in this one more, and I thought I had more fun, although I had a shorter period of fun with this one.
Right.
So for me right now, they're kind of tied as to which one I like better, I think, but I really like it.
I'm going to go with I think Pandemic Legacy is the better value than this one is right now. And the reason I say that is because you get more bang for your buck.
That's true. I have
Legacy.
to agree with you there.
I mean, you get more games. Maybe not necessarily a longer time investment because those games in Pandemic Legacy went a little bit faster than the run-throughs on this.
You get more.
But you get more bang
you
for
are
your
playing
buck.
at least 12 games.
Right, yeah,
Each
exactly.
one is at least
And here
an
you're
hour.
playing at most.
Right, you're getting really stretch it 7 hours, 8. I mean,
Right. So, I mean, there you have it. I'm going to give it 1.5 thumbs up because I did enjoy the game. I will enjoy playing it later on with the other cases as they come out. But
You'll probably like a non-horror theme better, too.
I probably would, yeah. That was a little bit grating, but I wasn't really necessarily worried about that. I was more about trying to figure out how to get through the game and in a positive aspect and win. So I wasn't really focusing on the theme. The artwork was all very inclusive and that type of thing. But for me, 1.5 thumbs up because of the puzzle aspect. That is, it's heavy puzzle.
right.
Because if I had been playing this game with 2 or 3 other people that were like me, that don't like puzzles, how long would that have taken us?
You would not have had as good a time.
And we would not
for
have
sure.
had as good a time.
Again, that's a big deal. If you don't like puzzles, you might want to not get this game. It's a heavy, I mean, this is a choose-your-own-adventure style game, but it's not just pick a thing and read the next point it points you to. You need to do some mental lifting throughout the way.
So
you know?
I'm probably, as far as a BGG rank is concerned, probably hovering around a 7, maybe even a 6.5.
I can't believe we're giving numbers out. All right, fine. 8.5, 9 maybe. All right. Anyway, that's Time Stories. If you like stories at all, you definitely want to check this one out. I'm Tom Vassell.
Z Garcia, thank everybody.
Sam Healy, see you on the flip side.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.